Welcome to Shri Siddh Vidyapith School. As we completed the chapter after 20 years in the last video, today we are going to solve the question and answers of this chapter. So students, take your textbooks and see on page number 4, right below the ending of the chapter there is reading comprehension. So let's solve the question and answers of this chapter. Answer these questions within 20 each words. What time does the story begin? The story begins at 10 o'clock in the night. Where was the man from the west leaning? The man from the west was leaning in the doorway of a darkened hardware store. When was Big Joe's Brady's restaurant pulled down? Big Joe Brady's restaurant was pulled down 5 years ago. Where were Jimmy and Bob raised? Jimmy and Bob were raised in New York. Next one. B. Answer these questions in 30 to 40 words each. Describe the policeman on the beat. The policeman on the beat made a fine picture of a garden of peace. He was sturdily built and walked with a slight swagger. As he went about twirling doors, he moved impressively. Why did the man speak up quickly when the policeman approached him? The man spoke up quickly when the policeman approached him because he did not want to be taken for a criminal. He wanted to tell him that he was there to meet a friend. Describe the watch that Silky Bob was wearing. What does this tell us about him? The watch looked beautiful with its lid set with the small diamonds. It shows that the man was wealthy and could afford expensive things. Okay, move on to next one. C. Answer these questions in 80 to 100 words each. Why do you think Jimmy Wells continued to talk to Silky Bob? I think Jimmy Wells continued talking to Silky Bob because he wanted to know more about him. Once he realized that it was his old friend who had come so far to keep an appointment made 20 years ago, he must have been curious to know how he had turned out in life, what had made him a criminal who was wanted by the police. Moreover, Jimmy would have wanted to know what his friend thought of him once he started thinking about the times they spent together. Next one. Second one. How do you think Silky Bob would have felt when he realized that he had spoken to Patrolman Wells without realizing it? When Silky Bob would have realized that he had been talking to Patrolman Wells without realizing who he was, he must have been assailed by mixed feelings. First, he must have been angry with his friend for not revealing his identity, and second, he must have been cursing himself that he had not identified himself. He must have also felt a sense of regret that they did not converse like the staunch friends they had been after coming all over the way to keep an appointment made 20 years ago. They had met and parted like strangers, and that must have been a real letdown for Silky Bob. Jimmy had recognized him because he had not recognized his bosom friend. Move on to next one. D. Read these sentences and answer the questions that follow. First one. I am just waiting for a friend. It's an appointment made 20 years ago. Sounds a little funny to you, doesn't it? Who said this and to whom? Silky Bob said these words to Patrolman Wells. Why would it sound funny to the listener? It would sound funny to the listener because Silky Bob had come all the way from the west to keep an appointment made 20 years ago. What happened 20 years ago? 20 years ago, when Silky Bob was 18 and Jimmy was 20, they had made a pact on the night before he was to leave for the west to make his fortune. They promised to meet again exactly 20 years from from that date and time, no matter what their conditions might be or from what distance they might have to come. Second, it takes the West to put a razor edge on him. Who said these words and to whom? Silky Bob said these words to Patrolman Wells. Who does him refer to here? Him here is a reference to Silky Bob. Although him does not really refer to Silky Bob, it means any man that goes west to seek his fortune, as he has to use his wits to survive, unlike in New York where opportunity is smaller and life is easier. How do you think Bob has become razor sharp? Bob has become razor sharp by competing with some of the sharpest wits in the West to earn his wealth. So students, here are the solutions for your questions in the text. I hope you all do it in the note copy. Nicely fare it in your note copy, and I hope I helped you a lot with the solutions. Thank you.